channeling the spell. This is going to be a Firaga. It doesn't clear somehow, and it kills Naiads to land a kill. Oh my god! Here, apparently not, because she is going for the back line. This is instant casting. Might have a chance. What's up, everybody? My name is Kason, and welcome back to the WDL. This is the Season 4 playoffs. 9 weeks of regular season has led us up to this point, where we will have 2 best-of-3s today to determine which 2 teams will move on to the semifinals in the Rundall League. Of those 2 matches, let's take a look at the teams that we are going into today. First of all, we have my team, the 5th seed, with the 7-3 record Los Angeles Rams, heading up against Quistis' team of Cosplay Party, also with a 7-3 record. In the regular season, Quistis did manage to get the edge in that best-of-1 all the way back in Week 1. Will it be the same today, though, is what we're going to find out. On the other side of the bracket, we have 2 other stellar teams, with Sweetheart of Fundamental Forces, again with a 7-3 record, claiming that 3 seed because of the head-to-head tiebreaker over myself and Quistis, and she will be going up against King Delita and the Fanatical Flares today. Should be an interesting bracket, and taking a look here, depending on who wins between my team and Quistis' team, the winner will face off against the 1st seed Itoman PR in the 139ers next week. On the other side of the bracket, the number 2 seed Chise is waiting with the Hopeless Heroes to face either the Fundamental Forces or the Fanatical Flares. Who will come out ahead today, guys? Let's go and find out. Fight number 1 between my team, the Los Angeles Rams, versus Cosplay Party, coached by Quistis, and we are going to kick things off for the playoffs for the Rundall League. Treasures, Hunters, Fortune coming out from the Halloween Fred, so this is the Earth Evasion team on the side of Quistis. I was nervous about facing this team, but I brought a lot of accuracy to this party to try and land the damage. The Axeman's Adaptability going to come out from the Halloween Lucio, and still sealed Endurance for my Winter Ravies here, as it looks like Grifford is going to come in with the Keen Blade. Trying to get that CT up in the party. I want to be nice and speedy, and I'm trying to line up my turn rotation absolutely perfectly here, as Lomure is going to come in with the Guard Hastaja. Katia should be able to get a buff on the entire party here, as she is thinking about it. She is on her recommended abilities. What is she going to go for? I assume it's the Calamity Guard. She's taking a while to think about it, though, as she does finally come in with the Heroic Blessing. This is actually the new Astrius TMR. It is not something I expected, but I think him thinking that Vega is on the other side, he did not want to get berserked, and a very smart option by him. Wake Up Impact coming out from my Lemure immediately after the Guard Hastaja lands, so that my accuracy is as high as it can go. Roar of the Lion coming out from my Winter Rabby is going to get that CT up, and the Haste Dispel. I do know that Halloween Lucio has haste on his TMR, or on his Limit Break rather, so I want to try and get rid of that if he ends up popping it. Resilient Stance coming out from the Halloween Fred to get that guaranteed hit nullification. There are no guaranteed hits on my side. It is all about whether I have the accuracy, as Wind Drake's Majesty comes out, and we are both thinking on the same page, as we both have Haste Dispel on our side. So that is a pretty big pain for me, as Lemire is obviously on my side here, but I'm hoping that at least with my Quickens, I can hopefully make some stuff happen, as Katia, again, is going to take a long time thinking about what she wants to go for. And this time, I believe it would have been the Calamity Guard, but I think you actually don't want to overwrite the barrier here for Winter or Halloween Lucio, as it looks like the Holy Night Hijinks is going to come out from their Winter Rabbies. The Limit Break's going to come out. It's only on to Halloween Fred, and even with the accuracy TMR, I do not have the accuracy here, unfortunately. The damage does not land, which means the Frostbite does not land, and this is a rough start for me here, as Grifford should not be in range to deal any damage. It's going to come in with the Enduring Formation, going to get that Elemental Chain Resistance up. The Quicken is going to land. Unfortunately, I couldn't chain up 2 separate hits, but I'm hoping to land a Limit Break onto both, and you can see both of these Earth Evasion units turn to the side to try and dodge this again. One of the hits does land on Halloween Fred. I'm not sure if one of them hit on a Halloween Lucio or not. He's not even facing this direction, and it is still bad news, as Displacer comes in, removes the haste, gets the accuracy down as well to make it even worse for me, and Halloween Lucio is ready to bring the pain. Dispel Slam coming in for 10,000 damage is going to take out my Grifford. A lot of my bulk not here on this team, as I tried to invest everything I could into accuracy, and it still was not enough, unfortunately, as Katia is going to come in again. She doesn't even know what to do with herself. She's got 2 fully healthy Earth Evasion units on her side that are ready to bring the pain, and they cannot be touched here, as Winter Ravies is going to get another opportunity. I'm hoping to land land damage. I'm hoping to break the barrier. Great Slash comes in and one-shots almost the Katia, but gets dodged by both units again. Guard Hastage is going to come out from the Lemure. She's going to get herself some haste and some hate down, but I cannot land damage on these evasion units. As the Drain Flurry comes out, 2-hitter is going to deal a little bit and just heal herself back up to full. And Lemure off in no man's land, doesn't know what to do with herself. Halloween Lucio says, I'm going to go ahead and take out this winter unit. Says, Halloween is a better holiday. Get off my game. Sealing Cleave is going to take out the winter Ravies. And now in a 3v1, Quistis is looking very, very good here in game number 1. The Katia, again, is thinking about what she wants to do. Honestly, she doesn't even need to be a part of this fight. These two Earth Evasion units are going to take care of everything themselves here. As Katia, I don't know what happens with some of these support units, but sometimes they just take forever to figure out what ability they want to go for. Halloween Fred is going to go next, going to come in with the Limit Break and says, I'm going to go ahead and blind the support to make things even worse. The Carving Carnival comes in, 6,200 damage, removing the haste and adding the blind is rough. As Lemure, does she go for a heal? Does she go for a raise? She's going to walk up to try and raise her fallen ally, and with the 30 Faith Grifford, he actually comes back to life. Somehow that still lands. I had the Faith very low to try and not get blinded by the Halloween Fred, but it didn't really matter, as he is going to die from all of this other damage here. As Katia going to go next, she again doesn't know what the heck to do with herself. She pretty much doesn't need to be a part of this party, as Halloween Fred is going to go immediately after this and should be able to end the fight. Katia tries to seal the kill with a smack of her mace, but Halloween Fred is going to finish the job with the standard attack, and that is going to be a very convincing game 1 victory for Quistis here. So, a couple thoughts on this fight. I'm going to be honest, guys, it wasn't because of preparation for the accuracy issue. I didn't actually really test this team, but I built pretty much as much accuracy as I possibly could. I had accuracy Espers, I had Alex Rings, accuracy stones, luck stones, I had accuracy cards in both the main and sub slot. I literally did like everything I possibly could. The only thing I could have changed is instead of the Wake Up Impact TMR, I could have done a luck TMR. But honestly, I'm not sure how much that would have mattered. I missed Halloween Lucille when he wasn't facing me. I don't know if it was just bad luck or if that team is actually that evasive, but I realized after this fight that I literally cannot win unless I bring somebody with guaranteed hits. The rough part about this is that 2 out of my 4 units on my team that have guaranteed hits are lightning units. So I decided for game number 2, I was going to bring a team that I have not brought all season. I was going to turn to it, and I said, you know what, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out swinging with the Axe team. So that's what I'm bringing for game 2. I'm going to see if it pays off. Game number 2, with my back against the wall here, I turn to the Axe team. This is a team I haven't brought out all season. I've been itching to do it. And here it comes. It is Vega, it is Durando, and it is Grifford. I said, hey, I've got 2 guaranteed hitters on the team, and I've got Grifford with the Axe VC with all the luck. Might be able to hit somebody, but he didn't bring evasion. He actually brought the magic team, and I'm thinking this might just be okay. Vega does give magic attack resist to the entire team with his buff, and we'll see if we can pull this off. Axeman's Ward coming out from the Grifford, going to give him that physical barrier. Obviously not going to matter versus these magic units. I probably could have just opted to turn that off, but it does give himself some attack and agility, which can help. They win Veritas TMR, not doing a whole lot against this magic team as well, as this team is meant to beat the evasion team, but might just be able to win anyway. Umbral Calling coming out from the Golbez is going to hit both him, the Resnick, and the Renan here, as this is a full staff devout team coming out from Quistis. Renan is going to go next, and how much damage is he going to do? He's going to hit it onto the Durando. The Fulgurous Thunderblast is going to come out. This is the limit break, and I'm hoping this Earth unit can soak it up decently. It is 2,300 and honestly 3,800 onto the Grifford. Durando is going to get the Fighting Spirit counter, heal himself back to full, and I'm thinking this is a really great start for me. Hammer of the War Master coming to come out from the Grifford. I don't expect this to deal a ton of damage, as it only does 1,700. I don't have crazy amount of piercing, and he does get the counter heal, which makes things worse, but I got it on my team as well, so it's only fair. As the Golbez comes out from the limit break, Void Meteor, how much damage is this going to do to my team? I'm hoping to stoke this up nicely. 2,900 to the Grifford, 44 to Durando. I'm thinking this is looking pretty good. Mortal Severance coming to come out from the Vegas, 3,600, but with that Wizard Staff, it pumps up the CT for Renan. Durando comes in with a Vampiric Ripper, is going to destroy the Renan though, and all of a sudden, I am in a 3v2 advantage, and things are looking quite good for me here, as the Resnick is going to come in with the Treasures Hunter's Fortune, the Lock TMR. I'm not sure if this is for evasion or accuracy here, but the Sleep River is going to put Resnick to sleep, and this is looking very, very good for my my Axe team. Golbez is going to go next, coming in with the Fang of Despair, but here is the problem. Defense piercing rate on my entire team means I am not doing much to this massive defense Golbez. Mortal Severance just tickling the Golbez at this moment, and Resnick is ready to heal him to full, and I'm thinking, wait just a minute, he might be able to bring this back here. If Golbez is unkillable, I could have a problem on my hands. This is now a fully healed up Golbez. Durando is going to go next. He was the one who killed the Renan. He deals a little bit of damage to both, but the defense and the AoE piercing is huge. Sealing Cleave doing very little at this moment here. This massive defensive wall of Golbez coming in with the Fang of Despair, and it's just going to keep popping that defense piercing rate down, which means I do not have enough in the kit. Paralyzing Axe comes in for 2,800. I'm out of AP, and I'm thinking, I think this fight just turned on its head. Resnick is going to come in with another limit break. I didn't even know this was possible, but apparently it must have been her upgrade as she can now limit break twice. The Golbez is going to be fully healthy at the moment and is ready to take out my Durando. Black Fang is going to come in for 6,400 damage, and unless Vega can get AP and land a Berserk, I am all but done. Unfailing reaction ability, I forget what that's called, is going to come on. This does make it so that his reaction is a heal back. This is my only chance at winning this, as he needs to somehow sustain himself through the fight. Paralyzing Axe is doing barely anything. There are 18 actions left. Golbez is going to start channeling again. Resnick doesn't know what the heck to do with herself. She's going to go with the Lock TMR again, getting that agility up, helping the turn rotation. Abyssal Quasar is going to silence the Vega, but that doesn't matter as he is a physical attacker. No AP, though, means he's going to standard attack the Resnick, and Golbez is now out of AP as well. With only 6 AP, what is he possibly going for here? It's the Umbral Calling. With the dead bodies in the way, he can't deal damage, teaching him the Strongbow coming up from Resnick, and they refuse to try and kill this Vega. It looks like without having to move, though, they are going to get to go again. Steel Heart comes in, but the charm does not land. Golbez with 24 AP finally should be able to deal damage again. Meteor coming in for 2,400 removes the re-raise. The Vega with the Devastation Rend finally does some damage, but with only 7 actions left, this is going to be hard to come back from. Resnick is ready to go for a Law of Invigoration, is going to top herself up, and I can see my season unfortunately slowly whittling away here as the Energy Blast comes in from the Valifor Esper, 2,400 damage. And I'm thinking, does Vega manage to live? Does he manage to at least not die in this battle? We're keeping his dignity, essentially, as the Resnick is going to come in. There's 1 action left. She's going to go for the Law of Invigoration. And I say, you know what? I might have lost, but my Axe team didn't die. Vega stayed alive. And unfortunately, I do drop the series 2-0 to Quistis. Massive shout out to Quistis. He is an absolutely amazing player. I'll talk about it at the end of this video, but honestly, this team was a really rough matchup for me. I really should have taken more time to prep, but I was so incredibly busy with real life this week. My first battle, I spent about 15 minutes basically building a team, and I never tested it once. And unfortunately for the playoffs, like, I really should have somehow found the time to do that. But at the end of the day, I think Quistis probably would have won this series regardless. We did play a for fun match where I brought this Axe team into his Earth Evasion team, and my team actually won pretty easily. Now, I wouldn't say easily, but like, it wasn't incredibly close. So knowing the fact that I could have beat his Earth Evasion team with this Axe team at least makes me feel a little better about the series. And unfortunately, my road is over here. But a massive congratulations to Quistis, who will now be going on to next week, facing off against Edoman PR and trying to pull out the upset. Should be an interesting series next week. But we've got another best of 3 for you guys today, which should be really entertaining. Heading into the second series for today for the Rundall League, we've got Sweethearts, Starlight Elena, Sylvie, and Lorela. And this Elena is worth way more than 90 costs in this season. It looks like Evildoers Beware comes out to try and get that courage. But it looks like we have some courage removal on the other side, as it looks like King Delita is opting for Sephiroth, Salir, and Grace, a team we have not seen very many times come out of him. This Sephiroth has mainly remained on the bench, but this could be a technique that is very useful against this dodgy Elena. If it can get rid of the courage as well, could be pretty huge. And it looks like Grace is going to come in with the Mind Enhancer, giving Shell up as well, could be pretty massive. This feels like a very smart call from King Delita here, as they Revitalize coming out from Lorela, going to get that AP Restore online. She is going to start walking forward, and they are all clumped together at the moment. Salir is going to start channeling. I imagine this is a White Mage spell, as she is not in range to deal damage yet. Starlight Elena going to go with the Grace of Eternal Friendship, so it does get that 3-hit barrier. So for Sephiroth, you can either break the barrier or you can remove Courage. You can't do both at the same time, but does get the Haste TMR up, which could be pretty massive. One thing that Sweetheart normally likes to use is use those Haste TMRs, but opting for the barrier this time is an interesting switch up. Sylvie with a lot of passive buffs off, it looks like, as she is just going to start walking forward. Is this a more offensive Sylvie this time around? As the shell comes out from the Solir, it's Sweetheart on the other side. It's not Sweetheart Solir, as that is obviously very, very confusing. Something I'll probably get wrong during the course of this fight. As Lorayla's going to come in with a Fierce Barrage, drop the agility up on the whole entire party. The Wizard Staff's going to proc the CT up for Solir as well, which means she gets to go immediately after this. The Octaslash coming out from Sephiroth, and how much damage is it going to do? It's going to remove Courage from the entire party. It does very, very little to the Elena, though. I am honestly surprised at how well she tanked that up. Solir, with guaranteed hits in her kit the first few turns, though, is going to try and put some damage down, but she is in the way, and this casting time is too long. And Starlight Elena is ready to put down the pain. Prismatic Punishment. Gosh, how many times have I seen this limit break? I see it in my nightmares. This is going to do so much damage to the Solir. She is going to drop. The Sephiroth mainly shakes it off. He is still hasted up, but this is trouble here for King Delita. Sylvie is going to go next. I think probably going to go for the limit break on the entire party here. Lorayla should get another opportunity. The one thing keeping King Delita in this fight is that Grace is still around, and she still has full life in her kit. If she can bring back the Solir so that she can deal some damage, that could be huge as well. Sephiroth still being hasted is going to go next before the Elena as well. If he can break that barrier, could be pretty important. But it looks like the Lorayla, how much damage can she get down? Last time was a decent chunk. Fierce Barrage 2300 again. And this MR Archer unit that we almost never get to see is honestly putting in some work here. As the Grace is going to start channeling something, is it a full life or is it a Kiriga? I imagine it's probably a Kiriga. Hell's Gate is going to come through. It does not one-shot the Lorayla, and it does not connect on the Elena here as the Kiriga Perseverant comes through. And can King Delita somehow withstand this onslaught that Sweetheart is about to bring on here? As Crystal Shine Bright comes in for 3,700 damage. That is a very good start. Sylvie should be able to chain up with this on a light slash chain. I think this Grace is all but done for here, unless she opts for a heal on the backline, but she does not. True Paladin Strike comes out. Grace is going to drop, and Sephiroth, who was once the most broken unit in the game, is looking pretty average at the moment, as Hell's Gate is going to come out. It's going to kill the Lorayla, but he cannot connect this damage onto the Elena, and Sweetheart is now in a 2v1 advantage and in very promising position here. As Elena's going to come up with the Crystal Shine Bright, that's a very good start, and Sylvie might be able to clean up this fight. Does she have full life on, though? Does she take the time to try and revive this Lorayla, or does she just end it here and now? We're going to find out. She comes in with the Cheerful Paladin Strike, and Sweetheart says, I don't need a supportive Sylvie here. I'm going full offense, and she ends up picking up a very convincing Game 1 victory. And now the question arises, what does King Delita have as an answer for this? Does he bring an accurate Helena the Black Rose as the answer? These are basically the two main carries of his team, is Sephiroth and Helena. I'm curious to see what he opts for. That would be my guess, but we're going to jump into Game 2 and find out. Game number 2, and it looks like King Delita is opting for the Helena the Black Rose, but Sweetheart says, I'm not even running that evasion team. I'm running maybe a slightly different evasion team, as it looks like Laswell, Reagan, and Fiend are here. So Laswell could still be dodgy, although I'm not sure if he's going to dodge this Helena here. It looks like that Rose Sanctuary buff is going to come out. It looks like the Fina, what is she going to start things off with? Is some sort of channeled spell, probably a Protect or a Shell, I would imagine. And it looks like with all that magic on the other side, I imagine it probably is a Shell. The Starry Veil TMR coming out, though. This is the OG Moore TMR coming out, which is very, very smart. And it looks like Solir is going to have her White Mage abilities turned on as well. Runes of Mind and Destruction. This is the Celis, excuse me, not Selena TMR being utilized as well. So a lot of status nullifications on both sides. Very smart techs by both players. And we'll see if it pays off for one of these teams, as the Illusion's going to come out from the Laswell. Obviously, this gives the AoE resistance up as well. I'm curious to see if this Laswell is actually dodgy or not. And it can be sometimes a little tricky to pull off depending on what team you are running them with, if you have the VC support for it, as it looks like Helena's going to get that, I think it was the barrier online before she starts walking forward. That could be pretty massive against double physical damage units on the side of Sweetheart here. Reagan's got his courage up. He's going to start walking forward. Fina, what does she go for this time? As it looks like she's going to start buffing this Laswell. The Protect is going to land onto the Y'shtola, but I'm not sure how much that is going to matter. I don't picture her living through a lot, although she does have the elemental advantage over these 2 ice units. So we will have to see. She's going to start going with some damage. Scion's Fire for 4690 is actually a fantastic start, as this very old MR unit doesn't even have a 140 yet, but actually putting in some work. As Lastwell is really confused as to what he is supposed to be doing in this fight. As the illusion comes out, he's going to go backline and buff. He needs to get in here and deal some damage, or this fight is going to be over before it starts. Rose Fulmination comes out, the limit break here. How much damage is it going to do to Reagan? Only 3,200. He honestly tanked that insanely well, but it does remove the courage, which is pretty massive. He gets the heal back though, so he is fully healthy. And can he return damage onto all 3 of these units now that they are stacked up? I don't think he actually has a diamond in his kit, so I don't think he will be able to hit all 3, but he might at least be able to hit 2 of them. Is Fina going to go with the limiter off, so is running the Lucia TMR to get that agility and range up. And Reagan up next with 94 AP. The world is his oyster, and it looks like he doesn't need a diamond. He's got the Terra Slash from the Monk Job to hit all 3 units. A good start here, but Helena is still very, very healthy, and King Delita is in very good position for this battle. So Lear is going to start channeling an attack, as is the Xenoglossy 2 from this Y'shtola, and I will say, this is probably the most work I've ever seen an Y'shtola do in a PvP fight. She is not the most impressive unit in the world, but she's done over 10k to Reagan up at this point. The Flare comes in from the Salir, and Reagan is going to drop. And King Delita is trying his damnedest to try and bring this to a game 3. As the Sparkle Shower comes out, does a little bit of chip to the Helena, but she is ready to put Fina out for the count here. How much damage is going to do? I'm expecting a shitload. The Rose Blast misses. You gotta be kidding me. The Fina dodges it. What in the world? I did not expect that, but that is very, very cool coming out from Sweetheart. And now the question is, if Fina's dodging stuff, is the Lastwell going to be dodging all of these attacks? As the Curata comes out, Cura comes out from Y'shtola, and they're just hugging each other and loving each other with all of these heals. Fina's going to come out. Does she actually go for damage here? Does she go for the full life? She's going to try and bring this Reagan back. If Reagan comes back, Sweetheart might be able to still pull this off. Soul Harvest comes out. This time it does land on the Fina. I'm pretty sure that Lastwell dodged that, though. I don't think that was his one-hit barrier. I think he juked it. Oh my goodness. As Salir is going to start channeling again. What are these 2 units doing? Roots of Mind and Destruction come out. They're stuck on this weird platform and don't know what the heck to do with themselves. But Lastwell is now in a 1v3. We've seen Sweetheart's Lastwell pop off before. That is honestly decent damage. Dropping the ice attack resistance as well. The Protect is going to land onto the Helena. And Salir is in offensive mode. Does she have the accuracy? Those guaranteed hit turns are now gone. So does she have the accuracy to actually get it done? Holy is going to come out, so this is a guaranteed hit, but that 100% barrier is massive. Lastwell might be able to turn this fight around, as he's going to come in with the limit break with the Azure Sky, and a unit that was left for dead for a long time is honestly looking pretty impressive here. 4,200 damage onto the Helena, going to drop the Y'shtola. Salir is low, and this fight might not be over. The question now comes down to, does Helena have the accuracy? Flare comes out. It does not matter. The Salir apparently does have the accuracy. I don't think she had any guaranteed hit turns anymore. That was way too many turns that passed by, but she apparently had it in her to land the damage on the Lastwell. So King Delita is going to bring this to a game 3. Went to the old reliable Helen team comp. I am not surprised. I would have done the exact same thing, but now we are heading to a game 3. Winner take all to head to the final 4 of the Rundall League. Let's jump into it. Heading into the final fight of this video, no matter what, we've got Sweetheart, coach of Fundamental Forces, versus the Fanatical Flares, coached by King Delita. Winner take all. The winner here will face off against Chisei next week. And who is going to get the honor of doing that is the Rose Sanctuary of Undying is going to come out from the Helena. And this looks like the same turn rotation, or at least positioning, coming out from King Delita. I think this was the team that he planned on trying to beat this Elena team with. So I think he said, you know what, I'm not going to switch it. I'm just going to see if it works out, as the Aurora of Blessings team are being used by the Sylvie here to try and get that light attack resistance up. A very smart option by Sweetheart here. So there's not many ways to mitigate the damage coming out from Helena, but light attack resistance is one of those options. As Lorella's going to go next with the Starry Veil. Spirit up, obviously a huge boon. Faith up, not really going to matter, but those status resistances are the major thing here. Is the Grace of Eternal Friendship, the Black Robed Witch Helena TMR getting that 3-hit barrier, and Sweetheart knows how to beat Helena. She is a light player as well, I believe, and she knows the tools. The light attack resistance, the 3-hit barrier, these are both massive to try and mitigate some of that damage. Does it pay off here, as it looks like Banishing Barrier going to come out from the Sylvie, the massive magic health shield, and the tools are here to mitigate this damage from Helena. But I will say, Salir, with the guaranteed hits early, could put in some work. If she can land a flare onto the Elena, it could be good news here for King Delita. As the Mega Charge comes out, it is not enough to one-shot this Y'shtola. Mana Font coming out, that's not really going to matter. Elena should not be able to reach this Y'shtola. The only one weakness she really has in her kit, she doesn't really have any range. Could be a good or a bad thing. This might be a Bold Surge. I'm thinking onto both. It could be a Flare as well. If they can get rid of this Elena early, this could be in really good position for King Delita. The remove re-raise shield is there as well. Not that that really matters a whole lot. A little bit of chip, 3,400, but apparently enough to proc the limit break coming out from Sylvie. So that is going to overwrite that barrier from the black-robed witch Helena TMR. It is now just a one-hit barrier. As Salir is ready to finish her cast, she should still have the guaranteed hits in her kit. Bolt Surge comes out, hits both, drops the unit attack resist, which means this Holy could deal some damage. That is enough to take out the Elena. You gotta be kidding me, and King Delita all of a sudden in a really good position in this fight. The full life is still there for Sylvie if she gets an opportunity, as Lorela is going to take out the Y'shtola, but this might be a comeback from King Delita here. It looks like the Salir is going to start channeling. What is the casting time? It is slower than when Sylvie takes her turn, but I think it probably finishes before the full life. Rose Blast comes out. That massive magic health shield is important for Sylvie as she is now still alive, but King Delita sneaking into the playoffs at 5-5 might be able to pull this off. True Paladin Strike comes out instead of the full life. This is an offensive Sylvie. I don't think she even has full life turned on. Bolt Surge is going to whiff, apparently, as it looks like Y'shtola is going to go next, and Sylvie is now in a 1v2 against one of the most broken units in the game. The Rose Fulmination is going to come out from Helena here. The limit break, how much damage is it going to do? 651, so barely getting through that massive magic health shield. Now has Reflect on her side. The Flare Suppressor is going to get dodged though. The guaranteed hits are now gone for Salir, and Sylvie, doing her best Elena impression, hits her with the juke move. The right stick to the side here. Salir is not going to deal any damage. Tearful Paladin Strike going to cheerfully eliminate this young lady, as Salir is going to come back with the re-raise though. And I don't know how Sweetheart can possibly come back from this, as this is a 2v1 still. Sylvie's a strong unit, but Helena is fully healthy. But I will say the cast time is long. Can Sylvie find a AoE here? She can. Clever Paladin Strike, and that is so much damage. The slow lands, and wait just a minute, that slow could be massive here. She actually dealt a lot of damage here. If she can shake off this damage from Helena, this is going to be close. The Holy comes in, 5,900 is a very good chunk, but that slow is massive. Sylvie might be able to lap, and with some of the supportive skills online, she might be able to chain with herself. True Paladin Strike is not enough to kill her, but that slow is the difference. Sylvie's going to go next. The re-raise is still online for Helena here. Clever Paladin Strike is going to take her out, but no, the re-raise removal. The re-raise removal seal, I don't think ever landed on Sylvie, which means that the Sylvie actually removes the re-raise from Helena and wins the fight. If you told me that Sylvie was going to win a 1v2 without full life versus Salir and Helena, I would not have believed you, but she pulls it off. Sweetheart, against all odds in that last fight, honestly pulls off the win versus King Delita. She has been really, really impressive all season. She had a really rough start last season. I don't think she won a single best of 3 in season number 3, but she came into the playoffs 7-3 and wins her first best of 3 in the playoffs. Honestly, she has been absolutely crushing it. A massive shout out to King Delita as well for putting on a huge show. This series was much more competitive than the first one in the video, but very, very entertaining regardless. So massive props to both of these players, and a huge congratulations to Sweetheart, who continues to prove that Starlight Elena is not worth any cost, and might have honestly proved that Sylvie is worth more than that as well. Alright guys, with the Rundall League quarterfinals over and done with, heading into next week's semifinals, this is how the bracket looks here. We have Edoman PR, the 1 seed coach of the 139ers, facing off against Quistis, coach of Cosplay Party. It should be a really, really awesome series. The battle we had earlier in the season between these two players was incredibly close. Edoman PR actually ended up winning a very close one with an evasion Moraga strategy. I don't think he's going to be able to catch him off guard with that this time. I think this series is going to be incredibly close. It should be very, very entertaining. I honestly would be surprised if it does not go to 3 games. On the other side of the bracket, though, we have Chisei, 2 seed coach of Hopeless Heroes, 9-1 on the season. Only loss is to Edoman PR. Already has that head-to-head win over Sweetheart and Fundamental Forces, but Sweetheart has been crushing it, especially over the back half of the season. Curious to see if Sweetheart can make this a series and do better than the last matchup they just had. Chisei's team is a tough nut to crack, but honestly, Sweetheart is an amazing player. And this series is a battle between two guildmates. So somebody is going to win, somebody's going to be a little heartbroken. It's probably going to be bittersweet either way, but it should be a good series. Again, I think this probably goes to 3 games, but regardless, these are definitely the 4 teams who are most deserving of being in the semifinals for this league. So I'm very, very happy for all 4 of those teams. Aside from that, the elephant in the room, obviously my season is over, and I would be lying to you if I said that I wasn't disappointed with how this season finished out for me. Personally, just a little bit of self-reflection, if you guys will basically give that to me. In terms of the regular season, I went 7-3. Honestly, pretty content with that. I had 2 specific battles that I put a lot of preparation time into. The other 8 battles, honestly, I tested maybe 1 time just to make sure that my initial turn rotation was right, and then I just ran it, and so I would see how it would go. This was probably the least amount of time that I've prepped each and every week of any WDL season, and I actually ended up with the best regular season record that I've had up to this point. So I was pretty happy with being 7-3 heading into the playoffs. I'd be lying if I said I was excited about my matchup draw. I did not want to face against Quistis. My personal opinion is that in terms of the rosters of the Rundall League, Quistis has by far the best matchup of any team into my team personally. And that comes down to a couple of things. So first of all, one of the teams that I really struggled with on his roster was his Earth Evasion team. It's Halloween Lucio, it's Halloween Frederica, and it's also Katia. Katia, aside from giving like a one-hit barrier to the team, and Halloween Lucio having a massive physical barrier, which most of my units are physical and most of them do not have barrier breaks, they're very, very dodgy. And you will notice one thing about my team. I have 4 units on the roster who have guaranteed hits. That's it. Every other unit does not have a guaranteed hit on it. 2 of those 4 units are lightning units, which is Schutzelt and Vega. So the only 2 units with guaranteed hits in their kit that are not lightning units, which are weakened to earth, are Orin and Durando. And those aren't the 2 strongest units in the world. So seeing that basically Earth Evasion team on the other side is very hard for my team to prepare for. So the battle number 1, the reason that I led what I did, I went with Grifford, I went with Winter Ravies, and I went with Lemure. My thought process was here, Winter Ravies has Frostbite, Winter Ravies has a barrier break, and if I can pick the exact timing of my Quicken and stuff like that, Grifford and Winter Ravies with a ton of accuracy in their kit should hopefully be able to deal damage, should hopefully be able to get through that barrier and basically kill those evasion units. The problem was I still didn't have enough evasion. I was running Alex rings on both. I was running accuracy espers on both. I was running the Odin VC instead of the Dark Odin VC. I had a sub VC that had, I think, an extra 8 accuracy on it. I was literally running accuracy runes and luck runes, and I maybe hit him once in that battle. So it was rough. And honestly, the only way I can make a team that's actually accurate enough to hit those evasion units consistently is running the Axe team, which is my Vega, Durando, and Grifford team. A bit disappointing. That's what I brought for game number 2, basically as an answer to the Mage team. And the only thing that I can give myself a little bit of, or walking away with pride a little bit, is the fact that we, for fun, did that Axe team that I brought versus his Earth Evasion team. And my Axe team actually did very well. It won versus his Earth Evasion team. So I wish I had taken a little more time to prepare for the first battle. I kind of just went into it really, really quickly, and had I taken more time, maybe I would have thought to bring the Axe team in the first battle, and if I had won versus the Evasion team, I might have been able to skew that team a little differently to try and basically go up against the Magic team, because I probably would have expected him to switch at that point. But it is what it is. In some other alternate reality, maybe I lead that Axe team and maybe I win this series, but in this situation, I did not. Quistis actually absolutely handed it to me, and a massive props to him and a massive congratulations to him. He's an awesome dude. I had a really, really cool conversation with him, and I wish him nothing but the best going forward. So that is just a little bit of self-reflection. I just wanted to talk about my team, as now I am out of it for the rest of the season. But these 4 teams, like I said, are absolute beasts, amazing players and amazing people. And I'm going to be really, really excited to whoever ends up winning this. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. We're going to have 2 more coming out this week. The Heinler League quarterfinals will not be out until next week. We had a little bit of a scheduling conflict, a couple of people with some really important personal things going on right now. So basically giving them an extra week to get that done. But that being said, the Wizette League and Champions League quarterfinals should be out this week. So look forward to those, guys. Until then, have a wonderful day.